Alrighty, we are live. The New York Knicks just lost to the Boston Celtics last night. They are now 0-7 against the Celtics and the Cavs this season. If you want to throw in the Thunder, they are 0-9 against them. So, tough loss. Almost had it at the end, but once again, I'm joined by LV live. So, LV, how's the vibes? How we feeling? How you doing, man?
Oh man, they say there are no moral victories in sports, but you got to try to find some positivity out of last night, right? I love the fight. I love we didn't get smoked or blown out by 20 or 30 or whatever it's been those 0-7 games. So I thought it was a lot of great fight, man. I thought we had the game. We let it slip through our fingers at the end, but there's got to be some optimism going forward.
So optimism is that we made it close, right? At least I in the post game, like I understand there was a lot of positives we can take from that game. LV Cat was dominant. Mikal had a good fourth quarter. Unfortunately, he let the ball bobble and then went out of bounds. So, the fourth quarter was kind of like forgotten. OG Anunoby kind of got shut out there, but he was missing his threes. Some hero Brunson there at the end. Didn't like the shot to tie the game over Porzingis. Thought the ball could have been moving more. So it's little things you could pick at, but it's to me, it's the adjustment that Dibs needs to make is playing DeLon Wright over Campaign, in my opinion. I think DeLon Wright bodes well against the Celtics. Now in round one against the Pistons, I think it could be Campaign, and Campaign has done some good things. But yeah, man, I mean, you can't get the monkey off your back, man. You're 0-7 against the Celtics and the Cavs, and a lot of Knicks fans just see a sweep in the second round. And I don't know how to feel, Avi. It's like I'm excited for the playoffs, but last night just got me. I don't know. I don't want to be too down about it, but at the same time, I want to be optimistic because it's the playoffs. I'm excited. Anything can happen, but the Knicks can take some positives from that game, and I guess we just go from there.
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely. I mean, there's two sides to that coin, right? You
Yeah,
can take some positives out of that, but you got to identify where the shortcomings are,
yeah.
right? And there was certain plays and certain things last night that we saw that I just didn't like, and I said, okay, we gotta start making adjustments here. Like it's just certain minor adjustments, and that's what is really gonna really lean into winning and losing those minor adjustments. And I thought that we had the game, and we were right there. There was two occasions where we were up by three in closing seconds. You had it. Cat fouled Tatum over there in the corner, right? He has three free throws. He misses it. We get the ball back. Brunson makes that great pass to Josh Hart. Finish the layup. We're up by three. Why not foul in that situation? Why not? This is an easy thing, but that's coaching. That comes to those little minutia, those little things that we tend to dismiss and act like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal because it matters in winning and losing. And so you let one of the best players in the league. I know OG is great, but he can't. When that guy is at the top of the key, I mean, come on, he's first team All NBA. He's a champion. These guys now know how to get to their spots and get the shot that they want, and that's what he did. So I'm not even mad at OG kind of doing what he did and falling for the hezzy and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
Jason Tatum is come on, man. We know how good he is,
Yeah.
but how do you fix that? And this is where the coach has got to come in. You got to foul right away. As soon as that happens, you got to foul. You got to pay attention to what's going on in the game. And so to me, I thought that was a key moment right there. And once we went into overtime, you got to lean into the champs, man. You got to lean into them. They're going to know how to pull it out in the end. And I thought that was our golden opportunity missed.
Yeah, it was, and that's to me coaching. Look, Tom Thibodeau and OG Anunoby said I should have fouled at the end of the game, and unfortunately, it didn't. Look, we lost, man. Chris, what's going on? See you in the chat. Dis Rover, what's going on? I appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat once again. Just Knicks, Crime's dad, always supporting. Just chopping it up on this Wednesday afternoon, talking Knicks. Knicks only have 3 games left this season. If they go 0-3 and the Pacers win out, the Knicks fall to the 4th seed. I don't foresee that happening. I think the Knicks will beat the Pistons. I think they'll beat Brooklyn. I think the Cavs are without Donovan Mitchell. I think he sprained his ankle. So I do think the Knicks are going to win one of these games. And if the Pacers lose one, they have to win out. So if the Pacers lose one, the Knicks automatically get the 3rd seed. So as it's shaking up right now, it is Knicks Pistons in the first round. And if you were here last week, you know that LV and I were kind of trying to avoid that matchup, just basically due to the fact that it was going to be just one of those tough matchups. Not tough, but in the sense of like, you know, the Pistons play a brand of basketball in which is dirty. Like they play street ball, they play prison ball, and I do think the Knicks can make work of them, LV. But yeah, are any concerns with OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson? You know, because we saw in the Celtics game, we saw, you know, Brunson had it going, Cat had it going, and there's only one basketball, right? So, any concern with that heading into the playoffs? Like the Knicks need to feature OG Anunoby more. I didn't like the shots between him and Hart. Hart took more shots than him. I don't like that. So, any concerns regarding that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you know, this guy was riding a very high wave, man. He's been playing exceptional basketball, and in a big moment like last night, you know, you want to see him kind of take that extra step, right? And I felt that with Brunson being back and Brunson being Brunson, to your point, you know, like we said before, there's only one basketball. He's going to get the most shots. He's the man on the team. He's the captain. He's the best player on the team. So you got to find a way to make sure that OG Anunoby can get those touches, right? And same thing with Bridges. You got to make sure those guys, because they're really good offensively, you don't want them kind of getting lost or sucked into the vortex of Brunson and Cat getting their shots, because those guys kind of get lost.
Yeah.
So that's where you're going to have to make an adjustment. Once again, we're talking about adjustments to put him on that second unit to where he can really dominate and he can be the focal point. So you can do a situation and where you have him maybe, you can have Bridges maybe going with the second unit in the first half, and maybe OG Anunoby going with the second unit in the second half, right? Maybe you can do that to make sure those guys are getting touches, because you're going to need them. You're going to need those guys to feel like comfortable getting their shots and, you know, kind of being a rhythm. OG Anunoby, he didn't have a rhythm last night. He just didn't. He didn't look like how he's been looking his last couple of weeks, but that's because you saw Brunson being back to Brunson. He shrinks the court. I've said this before. So it's not really much room for OG Anunoby to operate. So that's where Tibbs has got to make that adjustment to say, all right, we got to make sure we keep OG on the heater because the playoffs are right around the corner. So let's make sure he gets his touches. Let's make sure you put him on that second unit. If you got to, I don't know, sit down Shamit or something like that, or to your point, maybe sit down Campaign. I don't know, but that's what he needs to do. He needs to make that adjustment because he's riding such a high wave right now, and with OG Anunoby in his play, you don't want that to start to fizzle out with the playoffs being right around the corner.
And that's the thing with Mikal too. I mean, he plays better without Brunson. And it seems like Mikal and OG, they were playing well without Brunson. And it's a balance that the Knicks have to have because Brunson needs to be on the court, obviously. But it's a balance. And I think it's honestly, Brunson needs to be the one and be that distributor. He had 10 assists versus Celtics. He did. But I think it lies on JB. And I think, look, it's year one, right? I mean, you know, we're so quick to put things in a microwave and try to see the final result right away. And I know a lot of Knicks fans don't want to hear that, but it is year one. But against these elite teams, they haven't – I mean, they showed up yesterday, but they haven't won. You know, I mean, we don't get participation trophies in the NBA. They don't give those out. Like, yeah, we made it a close game, but you gave that game away. And in a 7-game series versus Celtics in the second round, if you were to give a game like that to the Boston, if you were to go, like, let's say you had the game in hand, up 3, you need a foul, make it a free throw game to go up 1-0 in the series. If you can't give games like that away in a 7-game series, because then you just set yourself back. I mean, I go back to baseball. The Yankees gave that game 1 away in the World Series. And after that, it was all she wrote. After that, I mean, you against the Celtics, you have to play perfectly. Tom Thibodeau, he went to a big lineup, which we like. Mitch, Cat, I wanted to see it more, but the game really didn't matter. But emotionally, it did for me. So some positives, but heading into the playoffs, look, Detroit, like Wabo Trey in the chat says, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions, it don't matter. Knicks in 4. This Rover says, how dare you, Ann? I'm looking forward to our had a good regular season ribbon. Look, I don't want no participation trophies, man. I don't. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, man. You're 0-7 against the Celtics and Cavs. Yeah, I mean, you got the Cavs this week. I guess just win to get a win and to feel good heading into the playoffs. But at the same time, it's the narrative, LV. It's you can't beat these good teams. You're stuck in there, back-to-back games versus Boston. Down in Boston, you cut the lead to 5, I think, in that fourth quarter, and then it just fell off the rails. Yesterday, you had a lead. You gave it up. And it was a back-and-forth affair. I guess you could take little bits and pieces out of that, but honestly, LV, it's the playoffs. Every game is going to be different. I mean, you're not going to look back at what happened in the regular season when it come playoff time. So, yeah. I don't know.
No one cares about the regular season.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one cares. When everybody starts the playoffs, everyone knows. Everyone goes back to being 0-0. That's how you look at it. That's the new season, right? So now we're in the season of the playoffs, and now we have to change our identity. So, we got to be mindful of, okay, this team has had our number. So now how do we beat them? How do we beat them? You got to identify that they like taking 3-point shots. They shot 50 of them things last night. 50.
That's
You
the
got to
game.
guard the 3. You can't worry about 2s. Tibbs is focused on, we got to have rim protection. Listen, man, you got to guard the 3. Like, you can't have guys running under screens and you're leaving Porzingis open all the time because you're running under a screen. You're going to have to switch that all the time. When they did switch and they put Mitch out there and he was switching with no problem, he blocked Tatum's shot. They look great switching. Even Reggie Miller said it on the broadcast. Look at the Knicks switching. They're giving Boston problems. And then they stopped doing that. They went to a big lineup, like you stated, Ed, of Mitch and Cat. He didn't do it again after that. They brought in Luke Cornett. Tibbs didn't match that. So I'm like, hey, man, listen. He had Josh Hart playing 48 minutes. Like, those little things are going to matter in the playoffs, man. And to your point, you can't give these games away. How you give those games away is not making minor adjustments and not doing those things, even when your players are playing really, really well. You can't let those games slip away. Like, you cannot. So you got to pay attention to those things, because the things I just talked about is why we lost the game. It's not how we played. It's not the fact that we didn't play hard. It's not that the guys didn't come ready to go. Even OG Anunoby had an off night and Bridges had an off night. Those guys still had good moments in the game the way we should have won. So where did we actually lose the game? It's those little plays, those little mental things that the coach should come in and do. And we just dropped the ball on that. And the playoffs are here now, 0-0. At this point, it doesn't matter if we get 3rd seed or the 4th seed. Like, I don't care. Regardless of anything, we're going to be we're going to have we're going to have home court advantage, right, in the first round. Second round, we already know what it is.
Yeah.
So that's where the mindset has to be, right? And so it's 0-0 coming up now, the playoffs. So now we got to start making those changes, man. Like, we have to. We can't be dropping the ball and just making bad mental errors in big games like this. We just can't do that.
Going back to your Josh Hart point, look, I love Josh Hart, but I don't think against an elite staff like Boston, an elite team like Boston, I don't think he should be playing 48 minutes. You're making it too easy out there for him. They're putting centers on Josh Hart. Porzingis is not even contesting Josh Hart. There was a play where Porzingis was like at the free throw line and he just put his hand up and Josh Hart shot it and he missed it. End of the game. Josh Hart had the ball, shot it and missed it. You knew Boston wanted that ball in Josh Hart's hands. If there was any player who the Boston Celtics were to pick out of a line, it would be Josh Hart. You shoot the basketball. I don't think Hart can play 48 minutes against this Celtics team. Look, he can play a lot. We spoke about this last week. I think he's going – this is why when you said start Deuce over Josh Hart, this is why I said Thibs is not going to do that. Like, he's not. And you kept saying take the coach out of it. I can't. This is Thibodeau. He's not going to scale back Josh Hart's minutes, and I think against the Celtics you need to. I think you have to play chess against them. He can't play 48 minutes. 35, cool, great. But you're making it too easy out there for him. And when Mitch and Josh Hart were on the court, they were playing zone. So you got a lot of tape on the Celtics yesterday. They got a lot of tape on you. We'll see if the Knicks make their adjustments. But yeah, LV, look, Josh Hart has had a career year. Again, this is not me bashing Josh. I'm just saying, lineups with him on the court with Mitch, especially, I don't think you could play him 48 minutes, man. I don't. Look, and you got to say, who do you go to? More Deuce, more Wright. I don't know, Shamit. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. You don't know why, Ant? You know why you don't know? Because you're not getting paid $10 million to them.
exactly.
That's why you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. It's not your job to know. It's his job to know. That's the thing, and that's why I threw that out there last week. I said, "Yo, man, we got to think about playing Deuce more because he spreads out the court more. We got to look to do that." In that last play, they knew Brunson was getting the ball. They denied him the ball. So why is Josh Hart on the court? Why is Josh Hart on the court? Why you don't throw Deuce out there to say, yo, we need shooters on this to where now they have nowhere to really match up at. You know what I'm saying? So listen, these coaches, Missoula and these guys are smart, man. They know like Tibbs is so stuck, he's not going to really change or adjust with that. And so it's just once again, it's a little minutia, man. It's those things that are going to really hurt us. And I'll give you a perfect example. Like you see how when Tatum was out there, they were looking for the matchup with him and Bridges because he's bigger than Bridges. Mm-hmm. True story, true LV story time. True story. A couple of summers ago, I was downtown with Miss LV, and I was in Central Park, and I saw somebody. He was kind of big. I thought he was one of the Knicks, but it was Tatum. Yo, he's huge, man. Huge. And I've seen Randall before. He's about the same size as Randall. Mm-hmm. He's a legit like 6'10". He's not like 6'7", 6'8". He's bigger than that. So that's why he was looking for that matchup for Bridges. Bridges is only 6'6", but he could push him around. He can't do that to OG Anunoby. He can't. So that's Missoula saying, let me identify the mismatch, and we're going to this every time. They were getting it. Whatever they wanted to get to it, they could. Why couldn't Tibbs do that when you had Sam Hauser guarding OG Anunoby? Why not say, we're going to this every single time? Every single time until they switch, because OG Anunoby's been on a heater. We're going to go to this every single time. He didn't do that. All I saw was Josh Hart shooting jump shots. To your point, Ant, with Mitch out there. So I'm like, yo, man, you got to change that. Like, or sit Josh and put Deuce out there. Like you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he can't, like, I love Josh too. Like, to your point, he has great moments. But you got to play chess. This ain't checkers. And he's playing checkers out there. And when you get to the playoffs, you got to pay attention to those matchups. I understand how great of a Knick he's been. He's had a great season. But we're trying to win games. We're not trying to win loyalty prizes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So those little things right there, man, especially the Josh Hart piece, was huge to me last night.
Yeah. Something we saw, something we acknowledged. Appreciate you guys in the chat acknowledging you guys. Appreciate you guys giving us your time. Chris said they need to fix the balance between JB, McHale, OG, and even Towns. That chemistry is needed the same way Boston looked terrible early on and are now juggernauts after many seasons with their core. Yep. Agree. And look, you see the writing on the wall, Knicks fans. Round 2, I mean, you know what's going to happen. I hope we give them a fight. But you see the writing on the wall. I mean, they've given us no inclination that they can beat this team. And look, I want to be wrong. I want you guys to come back and say, Anthony, you were wrong. But guys, I mean, they're 0-4 against the Celtics. Has been better lately. Last 2 games has been better. Should have won yesterday. Anything can happen. Injury here, injury there. I don't know. Tibbs finds some. I don't know. DeLon Wright. We need you against that team. Come on, Tibbs. Less Josh Hart.
Hey, Ant, I like that DeLon Wright thing. I like that because he gives you the size that you need against them. You know what I mean? He's a legit 6'5", and he's great defensively too. Yep. So you're going to need that against these guys. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really think about the DeLon Wright piece. That's a good shout for you, man. Shout out for that because I like that matchup there, right? Because he can really give problems to Pritchard, and of course, you know, he's about the same size as White. He's about the same size as him. He's bigger than Holiday. So, so he can really cause some ruckus out there on the wings because of his size and his length.
Like the Dumb and Dumber movie, you saying there's a chance. Keith Turner, what's going on? Nostalgic says it's lit. Salute to the panel. What's going on, Nostalgic? This Rover says Tatum and Jules are 6'9", Yeah, they're big. They're big. And Tatum has some muscle to him, you know. This Rover says, bro, they had Peyton Pritchard on Cat in a few possessions, and Cat still refused to shoot it. Cat was dominating that game, LV, and that's a positive in which I take out of that game is Karl Anthony Towns was dominating. They were putting anyone on him, and he was just rolling them over. And that's a positive sign, man. You want to see it out of your big man. Post-ups, threes, everything, the full package.
Especially when they went to that big lineup matchup right there, and that big lineup with him and Mitch, they were killing the Celtics, man. They couldn't do nothing with them, man. Agreed.
Wild Boy Trey says, all this is just for a storyline. The Knicks lose to the Celtics in the regular season just to beat them in the playoffs.
Ooh.
I like
that. Wow,
that.
boy. I love that.
Plot twist, we beating the Celtics in the playoffs. Hey, LV and I would love that, right? We would love that.
Definitely.
Look, tough game, but you got 3 more of these things. So Bucks won last night, came back. I think they had like a 30-3 run against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they were about to lose that game, and that would have evened out the odds between the Bucks and the Pistons. But they won, so now they're 2 full games ahead of the Pistons, and they still have those 2 games remaining. Pistons, Bucks playing each other, but I think even if the Knicks win the next game and the Pistons lose, I think it's you're playing the Pistons. So LV, round 1, it's looking like Knicks Pistons. How are we feeling right now? What is the temperature? Those of you in the chat can chime in as well. What is the temperature right now? Put this loss behind us. Put this loss behind us. Still a good team. Great team, I think. How do we feel right now in a 7-game series against the Detroit Pistons? Motor City. Going into Detroit. What we got?
Now, seeing us and seeing them as of late, right? I think the 82 games, I think, is starting to get the best of them. Like, you could see them starting to kind of
yes.
They're not playing better where the Pacers are playing better, right? Because the Pacers are a lot more seasoned. They got a lot more experienced. Guys are playing better now because they know the playoffs are right around the corner. Whereas Detroit is starting to fizzle out. So it's looking like they're running out of steam, right? They don't have the stamina, really. It seems like they're not ready yet. So this actually was going to probably be a better series for us. I see us probably winning this in either 5 or 6. But I feel a lot more confident now than I did about a week ago, seeing how they're playing, because I think they're running out of steam, man. Right? All the really good teams are playing better, right? Like the Celtics, I think we're playing really good too. We lost last night, but we looked really good last night. The Pacers are on a heater, right? So all the really good teams that know how to win in the playoffs and who've been there and who are battle tested are playing better now. And the teams that just aren't ready yet, you can see them fizzling out. So I feel a lot better now going forward with playing against the Pistons.
Well said. And I share the same feeling. Look, the Pistons have lost 4 out of their last 5 games with losses to the Timberwolves, Thunder, Grizzlies, Kings. They beat the Raptors. They play us tomorrow in Detroit. First round preview. I agree. And look, they could turn it on. Obviously, they were without Stewart. They had a couple of suspensions, so that could factor into that. But I just don't think they have the firepower. But as I say that, I'm like having flashbacks to them in the Garden beating us. So I want to be careful, LV. I know last week we said how we felt against them, because if we were to pick, we would pick the Bucks. But now the Bucks are starting to play well, so our feelings change. That could happen. Feelings change. So I do think it should be Knicks in 5, gentlemen's sweep. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Knicks in 4. But you're going to have the NBA universe, the media, hype this series up. The Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, they're back in the playoffs. But I do think if everything is clicking on the Knicks side, they should beat the Pistons fairly easily. Now, if they don't, if it goes 6 to 7 games, if it's a tough series, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yes, they are playing. They're not really playing well right now currently. I think Cade just came back from an injury too. I'm looking at their last game versus the Kings. Look, they got guys. Ausar Thompson, he's a stud. Hardaway, Jalen Duren. Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder, Kate Cunningham. They have Fontecchio off the bench, Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, the bully, Malik Beasley, the Nick Killer off the bench who just comes in and takes threes. So I'm not afraid of them. I'm not. The only thing we brought up last week, LV, is that we were nervous about the fact that they would try to take a part of us with them. You know, and that concerns me, but it's the playoffs, and I don't want to be scared about that. Yeah. Chris says 4-1. Nostalgic says Knicks in 5. David says we can beat Detroit, but I'm worried they'll take us 6 or 7. We got to try to sweep them or end it in 5. Eddie, what's going on, Eddie? Appreciate you in the chat. Caddy or Katie says we beat Miami all season with Julius, but we lost to them in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, regular season record doesn't really correlate in the playoffs, right? So I guess you can, in terms of the Celtics, 0-4 versus Celtics, 4-0 against them in the playoffs. Hey, now.
Yeah, man. I mean, Caddy, see, that's a great point, man. But you got to understand who's over there, right? Who's manning the ship over there? That's Spoelstra, man. He knows how to win in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
So the playoffs is a different type of beast. You got to really have your generals really locked in, right? And so when you have a guy like Spo manning the ship, you know, that's when playoff Jimmy was there. The Heat are dangerous in any series because of the coaching and because, you know, the players that they have. And Jimmy Butler, of course, Bam. Those guys know how to win in the playoffs, man. They've been to a finals. So, you know, that's how good those guys are over there.
Yeah, Crunch says Tobias Harris. Eddie says, I love the collaboration between your two channels. Eddie, salute. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, LV, you know, we chop it up. We feed well. We feed off of one another pretty well. LV went off on the Knicks yesterday on his post-game show.
Yeah,
relax, LV. Relax, man. Relax.
Couldn't help it.
It's just, look, we got playoffs in 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the key factor in round one? If you were to pick a name.
For us?
Yeah, for us.
Oh, man, I think it's OG Anunoby, man.
Yeah.
I think it's OG Anunoby. We got to keep him on a heater, man. Like, he's been, oh, man. His ascension has been insane, right? He's taken his game to the next level to where, you know, people are talking about him possibly being the next Kawhi Leonard, right? You know, people were saying he was a poor man's Kawhi Leonard. Now people are saying he's Kawhi Leonard 2.0, right? So, you know, that's how well he's been playing. We want to keep that going, right? We want to keep him cooking the way he's cooking. Like, you want to keep that. I think he's a big time mismatch for them. They have nobody that could really guard him. They don't. They're gonna put Thompson on Brunson because they want to give Brunson problems. You know what I mean? And so, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you want to take off the head of the snake, right? Which is Brunson. But OG Anunoby can really, really, really do damage. He can really do serious damage. And so that's who I'm looking to have a big series in that first round.
Crimes that says Towns if he plays like he did yesterday. That's the thing. The Knicks are so talented. I guess against the Pistons teams, I think it could be anybody. It could literally just be pick your poison. Nostalgic Nick says Mikal. Any worry about Mikal showing up for the big moment?
No,
Any concern about that?
not at all, man. I don't.
I've seen a lot of that. Like he's not
Yeah,
built for
man.
this.
I think, yeah. I mean,
Not
yeah.
built for the city.
Listen, guys. When Brunson was out, he was averaging 21 and a half points a game. I mean, he was playing really well. Like, you got to understand, guys. I don't know what everybody's expecting him to be. Like, you know, he's not, once again, I've said this here with your show and on my show. He's not a better player than OG Anunoby. He's not. That's why OG Anunoby's getting $212 million. That's why everybody wanted him. He's a monster on both ends. He's 6'8", 250 pounds. He's a better player than Mikal Bridges. So why do we hold Bridges to a higher standard than we do OG Anunoby? That makes no sense to me. He's a better player. So I just expect right. It's that, and that's not fair to him. So once again, I expect Mikal to be who he is. Like last night, his shot was off in the beginning. But what happened in that fourth? He scored 9 points in that fourth quarter, came up big. That's what you want from guys like that. I totally forgot about the fact that he was missing shots at the beginning because in that fourth quarter, he was one of the main reasons why we got the lead the way we did. Right? So I'm not concerned about him. I want him to continue to do what he's doing. I don't want him trying to do too much or too little. Just do what you do. OG Anobi is, you see what he is. You see how good of a player he is. You see how he's a monster defensively. And now he's starting to get it together offensively. He's a better player than Mikal. So we want him to do a little bit more. So I don't know why you will hold Mikal to a higher standard than you do OG Anobi. It makes no sense to me. No,
Yeah.
no sense at all.
It's going to be a really good series. It will be. And if the Knicks do everything correctly, I think they can make easy work of it. Look, Pistons are a scrappy bunch, and they've had an amazing season. The turnaround from then has been incredible. And it's unfortunate that the Knicks threw in that first round pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Knicks would have had that first round pick because that pick would have conveyed this year, the Pistons pick. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, I do think, look, Pistons are scrappy. It's going to be a tough place to play. I get it. But I think when it's all said and done, I think these guys are ready for round one. I think they'll take the Pistons 5 games, maybe 6, maybe I say 4 or 5 games, OV. I don't think it's going to 6. I don't. And if it does,
I think 6 is the ceiling. That's what
yeah,
it could go. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it goes 7. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it goes that deep. So
yeah.
yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, and regarding Mikal, like I'm not. I see the frustration, and I get the frustration as well. I was prior to having that big fourth quarter for the Knicks, he was just missing open shots. First quarter, he missed a lot of open shots, and I do understand I get when Knicks fans say that he doesn't show up for the big moments. He's not built for this because, quite frankly, prior to yesterday's fourth quarter, I mean, he really hasn't done anything against these elite teams. I mean, you go back to the game versus Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. What do you like 6 shots?
Yeah,
And
he had 5 or 6 shots. Yeah, he stunk it up. He had a bad game.
yeah, so it's all about balance. So that's the key word, man. It's balance, and it all lies on Jalen Brunson, man. I mean, he's the head honcho. If Brunson has it going, if he doesn't have it going, he has to dictate on any night who is going to. Who does he want to divert to? And it's not like really diverting, but you have so many weapons on this team. Now we know OG can take over. Cat can take over. Mikal has shown he can do his thing. But I think majority of the time, I think if the ball's in OG's hand, I think great things will happen. So I think Brunson and OG have to find balance. And when the first game Brunson came back, granted it was against the Phoenix Suns, and they don't play defense, you saw that. OG still had a great game. I know it was the first game Brunson came back, but it's all about balance. It's all about balance with this team, and it's all about the coaching staff finding the right pockets, the right minutes for players to thrive on. Mikal thrives without Brunson. I mean, he thrives with Payne. He thrives with the bench. That's Mikal's game, and it's all about the coaching staff and they've been doing that lately. They've been putting Mikal with the bench. So, but yeah, I know we lost yesterday. I know that the mood is kind of like. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in round one. We're still going to lose. Fire Tom Thibodeau. Get Mike Malone in here.
Yeah. I'm also seeing in the chat, man. Big shouts to the chat. Appreciate everybody coming through rocking with us today during this lunchtime. Listen, man, look. If Mikal doesn't do good in the playoffs, he's out of here. Listen, guys, listen to me.
He's not going. He's doing extension. So
listen. They gave up 5 picks for this guy. Do you think they're just going to let him walk for nothing? They gave up 5 picks for this guy, man. That's a hefty bag to give up for a guy you're just going to let walk. Are we going to be able to get Devin Booker for Mikal Bridges? Is that going to happen, guys? He's not going anywhere, man. He's not going anywhere. He's going to sign that extension. The Knicks are not going to let him walk. This is the same thing that happened with the OG Anobi piece. Everyone was saying, no, don't give him that big deal because he's injury prone. Don't give him all that money. The Knicks, they had to pay him. And they gave up their top young players in IQ and RJ. You think they wasn't going to sign OG Anobi that big deal? Of course they were. They're not going to make an investment like that and not see no return on it. Mm-hmm. It's 1 year. Yep. This is 1 season. So they gave up 5 picks for the guy. There's no way he's walking. It's not. So everybody needs to chill on that.
Yeah. Isaiah says Mikal just has to be more confident. I feel like it's all mental with him. Agree. I think it's all mental with Mikal. And I like Mikal, man. I do. He gets picked on, though. he gets picked on. But look,
Yeah,
if
man.
he
I really never really understood it. It
LV,
made no sense
but
to me.
I'm telling you, if he has a bad playoffs,
Yeah,
you
they're
got that
gonna kill him.
you got that
Yeah.
extension looming in the summer. I mean, you got a report from I think James Edwards that said the Knicks are big fish hunting. That was the quote from him,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
but I don't, I don't know. I mean, I like James Edwards the third, man. He has great stuff, but
yeah.
you just got to think, all right, big fish hunting, with what? Like, what are they?
I mean, it has to involve one of the guys.
Right. So if it involves one of the guys, if you trade Mikal, you got to trade something else to get somebody. I mean, you got to look at the money and look at who's out there. And here's the thing: we're going to want someone big in return. We're not going to. If he says big fish hunt, okay. So who we get? Who we get? Bridget? I mean Booker, KD.
KD was
Who
the
do we
name,
get?
but
Right.
they want a haul for KD.
Yeah, and plus, not even that, and it's money. This guy's making almost $50 to $60 million a year. Where does that fit? Like we got. I know we get emotional, and I know the Knicks fans like I get it, right? But it's got to make sense. It's all got to add up. You got to pay attention to those things. Cool. Let's say we don't give McKellen money. Let's just play around with it. Okay, I don't mind. Let me throw it out there. If we give up McKellen, we trade him. Who are we getting back? Who are we getting back? That I mean, I'm talking about that's really really good because that's who you guys want. I'm saying you don't want back. I don't know. Somebody off the bench, some average ball player. You're gonna want a guy that can come in here and do what Mikal does, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are expensive, man. Those guys are really, really expensive. You know, you guys talking about Herb Jones, Jaden McDaniel, all those guys. Those guys are making big bucks, man. They're not. They don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
So we just got to be honest with what's out there, man. Like you know what I mean. If we can do that, great. I'll be open to that because I think they're better players. But is that a possibility? And is that a real thing, man? That's just what I like to ask questions like that. Is that a possibility? I don't think so.
That's why I was confused with him saying that. You know, big fish. Like I thought we were done. You know, and
Right.
the only person to match up with the KD contract is Karl Anthony Towns. They make similar money. So I think if you
Yeah.
were to trade,
So, Ant, really quick, I'm just asking you: is Cat going anywhere, Ant? Is
I don't.
Cat going anywhere,
I don't think so. I don't. Something bad has to happen in the playoffs for you to just blow it up after year one.
man? Right.
Like something terrible. Like you get swept by the Pistons, and you're like, bro, what is happening? Something bad has to happen. But I do think with Mikal's extension looming, I know you traded 5 once for him, but maybe the Knicks like, look, minds change all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You take the loss if a trade were to come about. You take the hit. But I think if the Knicks were to evaluate Mikal in this playoffs, he performs poorly. They get now we're just going off the rails here, but
Right. I got you. I'm here with you. Because you're seeing everybody just saying we got to do this, we got to do that. I agree. Like I'm not saying that, but this is only year one, guys, of this project. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like so, if you say okay to your point, and we're just going to blow it up after year one because of whatever. All right, cool. Let's blow it up. Then what do? Who is Mikal? What he is, value in return. Like, what do we get back? And we're not going to get nobody better than him. Like, we're not going to get Booker or KD. If you're going to do that, like you said, you got to give up Cat. They're not going to give up Towns. There's no way. They've been trying to get him here for years.
the only way they
That's
give
not-
up Towns is for Giannis.
Right,
If you can,
and that-
but I don't think I don't like. There's so many other teams that can give them a better package, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But
So,
I like someone said in the chat. Paris Duggar says Mikal is so replaceable, and I like him. Nice says I don't see Cat getting traded, and Caddy says Mikal just needs to get in the weight room in the offseason to get a little stronger for the next year. We won't get what we gave up for him, so we must keep him. I don't think we must keep him. I think it is a.
Right.
I think you see what's out. You always see what's out there. I think if the Knicks kind of can get a 2-for-1 for Mikal and get 2 solid players for him, I think they would probably dabble in that if they can't reach an extension. But like you said, you gave up 5 first-round picks for him, so the trade package has to be worth it if you're looking to trade him this summer.
It's got to be, Ant. It's got they can't give up what they gave up. I mean, this is just with anything in life, guys. Think about it. If you put up a certain amount of money for something, you're going to want to see that return. You're not just
Yeah.
going to throw it out the window like that and say, okay, cool, we gave it 5 picks. We don't like what this is, so now we're going to trade you for a couple of pieces off the bench. They would be insane to do that. That's just not smart business.
Just
So
Knicks says
right, okay,
Booker.
just Knicks. You say Booker. Okay, you know how. First of all, Phoenix is not getting rid of him, man. He's their piece. He's their guy. Now, if he forces a trade, he wants to force a trade, they'll say, okay, cool, we'll do that. And if the Knicks say, we want Booker, they're going to say, oh, really? Okay, we want Josh Hart, we want OG Anunoby, and we want this for him. I'm just being honest. They're not going to say they want back Mikal. They're not going to say that. He's an all-star. Like they're going to want something back similar. I'm just saying, guys, this is just business. Like this, you got to think about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I understand the whole Mikal stuff, but I just don't think. And I see your MP says Mikal for Zion. That's not like Mikal for Zion. Like that. Come on, guys. Like you know what I mean. And I love this. That's why I love talking to you guys. We got to be realistic here. This is year one of this project. I don't think after year one they blow it up. I just don't see that. And if they
Yeah.
do try to get rid of Mikal, to your point, Amp, that's a possibility. They're going to want a big prize back in return because of what they gave up to get him. That's just what it is.
I think there's a higher possibility of them tinkering with the lineup rather than getting rid of one of the big pieces. But it all lies on that contract extension with Mikal Bridges because we've seen the Knicks in years past. If they don't come to an extension with you, they will trade you. Manuel Quickly, Julius Randle. I mean, if they don't like the money that you're offering them and you and your agent come to them with, they will find a trade out there. But I don't think that's the route they go. But I thought the James Edwards soundbite from last week was a little bit like big. Like when I saw that, I was like, big fish. Who's the big fish? Then the KD rumor was prior to that. So you're thinking about KD's open to coming to the Knicks, and the Knicks front office was intrigued by that idea. And I'm saying to myself, like, is there like a disconnect we're not seeing within like? And I started like thinking like within like the locker room, or do players not get along? Like why are we all of a sudden just blowing this up now and going for KD, a 38-year-old?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, how old? What is he? 38, 39?
Yeah, he's 38, 39.
Oh, yo, come on, man.
Great
He's old as
player,
dirt.
but
Yeah, he's old as dirt, man.
yeah.
Like, come on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's old, man. You know what I'm saying? So I see Paris in here. Big shouts to you, man. Appreciate you coming through, rocking with us. Paris says, give up Bridges, Deuce, and Mitchell, Big Mitch, and bring in a Hall. Who are you bringing in for that, man? These guys are young players. You're going to give up your young guys that you're trying to build around and bring in who? Like, you got to be realistic, guys. Mitch is back. Mitch is they're not letting go of Mitch. And I really doubt they let go of Deuce because of his contract. So I'm just saying, guys, like, I get it. The playoffs haven't started yet. I know me and Ann are jumping out the window here, but I'm just saying we got to be realistic.
Fast forward.
Like, you know what I mean? We got to be realistic here about the possibilities this summer. Like, we just have to be. You know what I'm saying?
We do. It's fun conversations, but I do think we're ready for the playoffs, man. Look, Mikel's gonna have a great series versus the Pistons, and we're just gonna go from there. And we got the Celtics staring us in round 2, but this is talk for the summer. But it is, look, people are talking about it. I mean, you have Knicks reporters saying what I just said, so I thought it was a little bit interesting. But yeah, man. I mean, look, tough loss yesterday. Once again, I appreciate you guys in the chat. Hit some of these comments before we head up on out of here. LV. Nick says the real question is our center position next season. Yeah, I mean, Mitch is going to be up in the air, too. I mean, it depends what they think of Mitch. This Rover says, Ant LV, it's only year 1, but we don't have 6 years to team build. Don't blow it up, but we got to get our crap together.
Agree.
We do, but everyone is signed except Mikel. Everyone is signed for the next 3 seasons, I believe, except Mikel. 3 to 4 seasons, except Mikel. So I think if they were to tinker with things, they're going to evaluate the playoffs, see how he does, and just go from there. I know they traded a lot for him, but it's all how it is in a playoff. He could carry us. I'm not predicting this, but versus Boston, he can go on a Hercules run and carry us, and then it's like, okay, where do we sign Mikal Bridges? Like, pen to paper. Put that on the dotted line. But,
really quick, I just want to throw this out there. I know we're about to close out. Isaiah Acosta, real quick. He says, LV, answer me this. Why isn't Mitch ramping up? I'm generally asking, right, because he only played 16 minutes last night. That's like a medical thing. They said he can only play a certain amount of minutes and he can't play back-to-backs. I think in the playoffs, that's going to go out the window. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So I think that's more like a medical thing. They were saying that they, so they're really watching his minutes until the playoffs come. So I think then that's when they're going to say, okay, all gloves are off. Let's go full fledged and kind of see what happens.
Appreciate you, Chris, in the chat. Katie says, I say run it back next year. They will have more chemistry. Yeah, just take it, get a few bench pieces. It's going to be tough because the Knicks are already in the first apron next season. But look, I'm excited for the playoffs. I don't want to fast forward too much. And I think,
agreed.
3 games left. Let's enjoy this. Soak it in. First round. Let's get excited. I mean, I love that feeling, and we just go from there, man. You never know, man. You never know against the Celtics. You never know. So, Jaden says no. Chris was clamoring for getting Dante back. That would be perfect, man. That would be perfect, obviously. But I don't see a path towards that.
Right.
I don't, unless I don't know. Mikel knows the money is on the line. The Novo movement isn't a championship team. Is a hard pill to swallow. Parrish says, let's close it with Parrish. Ask me who to replace Thibs. I dare you. Asking chat people for who isn't a quality answer. Coach Malone wasn't available 2 days before. LV, that's people already crowning Coach Malone as a coach of the Knicks, man.
Yo, he's like Tibbs 2.0, man.
I know
that's why they got him
Malone is
That's
our
why they
new
got him up out of there, man.
Malone is our new coach. We lost because of horrible strategy. 12 seconds left. Yeah.
And
then Yuri, what's going on, Yuri? Mikel did say he wanted to take a pay cut. He did. But Dino says, let's get this ring. Let's go, man. LV, any last words before we want to hop on here? This was fun.
Nah, man. Appreciate you having me on. Great. Look forward to the playoffs, man. Like you said, let's be optimistic. Let's get this win tomorrow night against Detroit, and let's get ready for the first round.
Let's go. Playoffs coming soon. Appreciate you guys. I'm Anthony. LV has a YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe. All the good stuff. I'll catch you again next time. Peace.